Colorado is expensive, but it doesn't have to be. If you're thinking about moving to Colorado and just want to learn about some of the more affordable places to move, well, this is exactly what this video is for. Let's get started. Hi there, Christy Lee here, and I am a local real estate agent in the state of Colorado, but more importantly, I am a native of Colorado. If you're new to my channel, all of my videos are catered to my most favorite places to live, to visit, to bring your kiddo. If that's something that interests you, please click that subscribe button right there. That way you are notified every time I have a new video. Now, as much as I love making these videos for you, I love hearing from you even more. So please reach out to me if you're planning on moving to Colorado or just want to learn a little bit more information about different areas. That's exactly what I'm here for, so please reach out to me anytime. I am the one that answers those phone calls and those emails, text messages, whatever. All right, so you're thinking about moving to Colorado, but just are kind of sticker shocked, right? We're expensive, or at least we're getting expensive compared to other areas around the United States. So depending on where you're coming from, you might be kind of bombarded with sticker shock and what you can get in certain places. Well, I've narrowed down 6 different places along the Denver Front Range, up north and south, that might just fit your budget. So let's go over them. The very first one is going to be Aurora. Now, Aurora is going to be located just east of Denver, and it's actually really close to DIA. So if you're somebody who, travels a lot for work, or maybe you're even a pilot or, a flight attendant, anything like that, Aurora might be a great bet for you. So Aurora, I will say, used to be pretty sketch. Like, a lot of people just didn't want to move to Aurora. It was relatively, pretty unsafe, but things have changed. Now, don't get me wrong. There are still places that I feel probably aren't the best places to live within Aurora, but overall, they really are trying to revamp Aurora. They're making it a lot more safe. There's a lot more restaurants and stores and housing going into this area that make it actually very appealing for somebody moving here. Now, the median house price as of 2022 in Aurora is going to be mid 500s. Now, what I do want to say is when I use median house prices with all 6 that I'm talking about, I'm actually considering both condos, townhomes, and single family homes. So just kind of keep that in mind that Aurora right now is 500, 550, right around there is a median house price, but that is going to include all of that. Now, you could definitely get houses well over $1 million in Aurora, and you could definitely get Aurora prices, lower than 500 for sure too. Now, the great thing about Aurora is it is ranked the 2nd most affordable city just outside of Denver. So that is something to, a great thing if you're moving here. Like I said, it's only about 20 minutes to Denver, so that is actually really great. It's really close to DIA. You are about an hour away from the mountains, so if you're somebody who likes to go up to the mountains quite a bit, probably Aurora might not be the best bet unless you don't mind the commute, because you are at least an hour away from just getting into the mountains in general. So that might not be the best bet for you, but the housing prices are going to be pretty stellar. All right, so next on my list and moving just farther south is Colorado Springs. Now, Colorado Springs is the 2nd largest city in Colorado. So it is really, really big. It is a very dynamic city because it is very military based. It is very Christian based. So you're kind of getting the best of, I guess, both worlds, or the worst of both worlds, I guess, depending on how you look at things. But the great thing about Colorado Springs is the views. So Colorado Springs is absolutely gorgeous. The views are insane, and they really are everywhere you go down there. I actually lived down there for a few years, and there's just so much to do when you go down there. If you're somebody who likes to be outside, likes to go hiking a lot, you have Pikes Peak down there, you have the Manitou Incline down there, Garden of the Gods. There's just a lot to do down there. Median house price in Colorado Springs is going to be right around $500,000. You are going to be able to get obviously that single family home for a little bit less than that, but typically hovering right around that mid 500 mark, and then obviously going up just like everything else. but it is a great place if you're somebody who loves the outdoors. You're only going to be about an hour away from Denver. Now, they do have their own airport down in the Springs, but if you're somebody who probably travels a lot or maybe even wants to save a little bit of money, you probably will be going to DIA if you know, for your tickets and stuff, because I can't imagine flying out of Colorado Springs would be that inexpensive. I'm not honestly really sure about that. But they are just, it's a beautiful place. It's a lot of touristy that goes down there too. So just kind of keep that in mind. A lot of tourists go down to Colorado Springs because you have the Air Force Naval Base down there, and then you have Manitou, you have Old Colorado Springs, Garden of the Gods, you know, Cave of the Winds, all of that kind of stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you do move down there, it's a great price point, but you will have a lot of tourists. And then if you already living there, it's a great place for your family to go too, because you could take them around and show them a really, you know, really beautiful place. Cripple Creek is actually a gambling place out near Colorado Springs, and that's only about 45 minutes from the Springs. So that is a cool little bonus that you could have if you live in Colorado Springs too, if you like to gamble. Okay, so number 3 on my list, and I actually was a little bit surprised about this, but it is Dove Valley and Inverness. So they kind of are one and the same, and they are just southeast of Denver, only about 30 minutes or so. It's in an amazing location, mainly just because you are so close to the Cherry Creek Reservoir. So you could head out there, you could go camping out there, fishing, kayaking, all of that good stuff. But one thing I did find surprising was the price points in Dove Valley and Inverness, only because I do know the location very well, and I was really surprised to know that the median house price in this area is going to be mid 400s. Again, you could go well into the millions in this area because those are the houses I seem to always see out there, but you could get something so affordable in such a great area. Now, Dove Valley actually was named one of the 12 best places to raise a family in the United States, which is amazing. And also what's so cool about this area is the amazing school districts that Dove Valley and Inverness both offer. You are going to be in the Cherry Creek School Districts and Douglas County, and both of them are highly, highly ranked in the state of Colorado. So if you're somebody who, you know, is looking to raise your family at a great price point, this area is just southeast of Denver. You're able to get into Denver 25 minutes. You're really close to the light rail. You're really close to actually DIA. You could get to DIA in about 30 minutes. And then the school districts are just phenomenal. You could go camping at Cherry Creek Reservoir. It is a really great location, a great affordability in this area, which I was actually shocked about. So I would highly recommend looking into this area just simply alone if you're planning on raising a family in a great area. This probably would be one of my most favorite places. Number 5 on my list is going to be Milliken, Colorado. So Milliken is going to be northeast of Denver, about an hour or so, but you are going to be closer to Greeley, Evans, all of that. So if you're somebody who works in those areas, I know that I get a lot of people contacting me because you're in the medical field and you're working in Greeley. Milliken is going to be a great area to look into. It is very, very small, but it is growing. So the median house price out in Milliken is mid 400s. So you could get a great house for a lot less price than really anywhere that I've mentioned for that matter. But it is going to be pretty small, so you do need to know that. You're going to be really close to a lot of lakes. So if you're somebody who likes to be on the lake a lot, go fishing, whatever, you're going to be really close to that. But it's going to be a lot farther from, you know, other places. You're going to be close to Johnstown is kind of where it's located, between Johnstown and kind of Greeley-ish. So close to Johnstown, which is also close to Loveland. So to get all of your major stores and maybe shopping, you're probably going to have to go into Loveland for that matter, or even Greeley, because Milliken as a whole is very small, and you're just going to have like that small town strip with maybe just a couple restaurants, you know, a couple little stores, but that's really it. That's really all Milliken's going to have, but it's growing. So you have a lot of new builds out in Milliken. It's like one of those hidden gems that a lot of people just don't know about, but now that the word is getting out, a lot of builders are going in there, that you could actually actually get a really good priced home, mid 400s, mid 500s, single family home in a great area, and it's only going to continue to build equity only because people are gravitating towards the northern side of Colorado, the northern side of Denver. So these are the areas that most people are going to, especially if you work in Greeley, Fort Collins, Evans, anywhere like that. All right, and my final choice for most affordable place to live in Colorado would be Firestone. So Firestone's only going to be about 35 minutes north of Denver. And what I love about Firestone is that it is so close to other things. And maybe I just love it just because it's been growing for the last, say, 10, 15 years. So it's not as small as some of these other ones like Milliken that I just mentioned. Firestone has made a name for itself. You are really close to Longmont. So if you're somebody who likes, you know, a little bit more hustle and bustle, definitely closer to Boulder, Firestone's going to be a great area to move to. There's a lot of new builders going into Firestone. As well. The median house price in Firestone is going to be mid 500s. So you're going to be able to get a great house. And that would actually, mid 500s is going to be relatively new speaking, just because the homes out there aren't going to be that old. What I do love is that there's a lot, so 18 parks are going to be in Firestone. You have 5 miles worth of bike trails that you could go in, but they all interconnect too. So you could ride into Longmont, you could ride into Boulder actually. Firestone's really close to Erie, Frederick, Dacono, all of that. So they all kind of share a little bit of stuff. Now it is still smaller, but it is named one of the safest cities in Colorado. So that is something that they do pride themselves on. So if you're thinking about moving to, you know, not necessarily northern Colorado, because it's definitely not as north as Milliken, but it is just outside of Denver, only about 35 minutes or so, and you're gonna be able to get a great place, and you'll still be really close to Boulder as well. All right, so those are my top 6 places that I think are the most affordable places in Colorado. You could still move here. You could still find something in a great price point. Everything isn't crazy expensive out here. While some people do think that, not everywhere is that crazy, like Boulder and Denver itself. So reach out to me anytime if you have any questions about any of these 6 cities or any of the other cities you might be looking into. I'd be more than happy to help you. Remember to click that subscribe button right there. That way you are notified every time I have a new video. And then to the next video, take care.